Welcome everyone. All right, I see folks in the chat box. If you are just joining us, again, welcome to our webinar for this month on how to apply to Stride and Ace Your Digital Interview. Again, my name is Andrea, and feel free to say your name and what state you're from in the chat box below. Right, I see some folks from Texas, Alabama, California, Pennsylvania, Utah, Virginia, Florida. Hello. And yes, this webinar is being recorded. So if you have to jump off or if you aren't able to stay till the end, we will be recording this and uploading it to our YouTube page later this week. So again, I want to thank everyone for joining. We're going to get started since we typically we run about 45 minutes to an hour, but we want to make sure that we can cover all of our information that we have for you all today and answer questions that you have. Again, this will be recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel later this week. Now, some of our panelists that you'll be hearing from today will be Mikhail Jackson, Susan Lohmiller, Sheila Martin, and Jenny Murphy. You'll be hearing from them later on in the webinar today. And again, my name is Andrea Wilson. I work in our HR department, as well as with our people experience team. And if this is your first time joining our webinar, you may see a different name, which is Stride. For those that may have seen us before, our former name was K-12. We're still K-12, but we switched our name to Stride as we are now focusing more on a lifelong learner. Whereas with K-12, we were focused on grades K through 12, but now we also try to include into our curriculum college prep courses, and we also have other companies that are working with us, such as Galvanize, MedCerts, Tech Elevator, and Hack Reactor. Those are some of our coding and data boot camps that we offer to help with learning about coding, and our MedCerts is for healthcare and IT certifications. So that's why we've changed our name to Stride, so we're all encompassing. So not just from kindergarten to high school, we want to make sure we focus on the lifelong learners. So after they've moved on to college and into the workplace. So I know a lot of you have come to some of our other webinars and heard from different teachers or trainers that we have here. And afterward, you're wondering, how do I apply at Stride? And I wanted to show you our new website. This is just a snapshot of what the page looks like. Our careers page, which is www.careersatstride.com. Actually, we'll post the web link in the chat box for you. Courtney, if you could post that in there. But once you are on our website, you'll want to click on the careers page. You see this kind of careers tab, you want to click on that and it'll bring you to this main screen. From there, you can choose the types of jobs that you want to apply for, whether it be teaching and academic support opportunities, which is the first tab. Then you have the corporate opportunities, where we have all of our corporate roles, and then the career development opportunities, which is what I referred to earlier, the jobs pertaining with Galvanize or MedCerts, Tech Elevator, or Hack Reactor. Those would be under the career development opportunities. So to talk about how do I apply, I'm going to have one of our recruiters to just talk about the steps, and then we'll go into tips on the application process. So I will have Susan to join us. Susan, if you could tell us a little about yourself, how you joined Stride, and then tell us about the steps.
So I was always a brick and mortar teacher in district schools as well as parochial schools, and came over to Stride and taught for Texas Online Preparatory School, and now recruit teachers to teach online for us. And like many people, I applied for several years and was not hired, and now I know why. Looking at it from this side. So of course, first you would go to our career site and then to our teaching job boards. And from there, I was applying to jobs that looked interesting to me, that fit my certification, but I did not realize I needed to live in the same state as the school. So for most of our schools, you need to live in the same state as the school, except for Learning Solutions. But for most of our public schools, full-time teachers, they need to live in the same state as the school and be certified in that state. So narrow your search on our job boards by state, okay? If you're looking for part-time work, there's Learning Solutions where you need to be certified in that state, but you can live anywhere, and those are part-time jobs. But most of the jobs you see on our boards are for full-time teachers, and you have to live in the same state and be certified in that state. So that was my big problem. When I finally lived in the same state as the job I wanted, I got that job. So help yourself there. And then next it says register an email and account with us in order to submit an application. Please use your personal email because we attach our job contracts to your personal email. And if you are applying with a school email, it'll cause HR problems down the road where you won't get your paperwork once you're no longer working at that school. And so help yourself by applying with your personal email. And then once you apply, if you are applying for teaching positions, you're going to receive an email from us that tells you about a lesson plan audition that you will also be emailed. So 2 emails. One is to prep you for this second email, and it tells you all about this lesson that you're going to be teaching on video. And then you're going to receive an email from HireVue. And that email from HireVue asks you some normal interview questions, ones that you expect, like what could you work on and what was your toughest moment in teaching, those sorts of questions, and you're on video, so be positive. Even if your day was rough, look like someone that other people want to work with. And then the last question, which you will be prepared for, asks you to upload a lesson video. So you'll already have received that email to prepare for that. So you're going to be videotaping yourself teaching a lesson to a data set of students. And so you're given a data set in that preparatory email of different kids in your class and their IEPs and things that they're working on. And I'm not sure that I remember that says things that they're really great at. It's mostly things they're working on. And you are to teach a lesson in your subject area, showing the standard that you're teaching to that data set of students. So something that stresses people out when they see this is you're given 15 minutes to do that, and you're supposed to have a whole class period in that 15 minutes. Also, as teachers, part of teaching to that data set of students are secret little things that you would never just say to a whole class because it would make that kid uncomfortable. You know that. Please know that the principal who's watching your video is a nice person with lots of experience in the classroom, and they know that that is rough. Okay, they know it's hard for you. They know it's hard for you to do after a long day of teaching, and they've been there. So please don't be stressed out about that teaching audition. At the end of the day, if you're overwhelmed by it, teach your very favorite lesson. Just turn on the camera, record yourself teaching your very favorite lesson, and just be very confident in that and your lesson and turn in that URL. So all you'll be turning in for that last question is the URL of your video, and make sure it's marked public so that we can see it. You will not be turning in that lesson plan. So that's one of the biggest emails we get is, where do I turn in this lesson plan? I've been working on it for hours. You're never turning it in. So don't work on it for hours. Just record yourself, and all we need is the URL, that's it. So I hope that helps, and it answers quite a few questions that we get on a daily basis about that lesson plan audition. And also one last thing is it gives you the whole lesson plan layout. You know what a lesson plan looks like, go with what you know. Okay, there maybe are some brand new CRE teachers who haven't had lesson plans for years, but other than CRE teachers who have work experience, if you have taken classes on teaching and it's your first time teaching, you still know what to do. You know what a lesson plan looks like. You'll be fine. Oh, okay, so research the positions. Next up is know yourself and what positions you qualify for and are interested in. Of course, as speaking to teachers, you know what you're certified in. If you are certified to teach middle school ELA, please do not apply to high school ELA. Your application won't be considered. So certification, residency, again, Learning Solutions can hire people part-time who live out of state, but they need to be certified in the state that job is posted in. So if it says Oklahoma Learning Solutions, that person needs to be certified in Oklahoma. And then update your resume, make sure your contact information is correct, name, email, phone number, because we will reach out to you, the principals will reach out to you, and if it's not correct on there, we'll never find you. And really help yourself by putting a picture of your certification on your website, because maiden names and hyphenated names, they just do not come up in the verification sites. So help yourself put your certification image in your application. And again, for email, make sure you're applying with your personal email. Okay, I hope that helps. I'll stop talking and hand it back over to Andrea.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. Now, I know that was a lot of information, so don't worry, because we're still going to go back through what Susan covered. Again, you're going on our website, you've put in your information, you've updated your resume, and now you've applied. So now we're going to move to what happens after the application process, and we'll still reiterate the tips and the process of the interview. And I'm going to have Mikhail to share with us the process of after you've applied and the interview portion. And then we'll talk about interview tips from there as well.
Yes, so hello everyone. Things to look for after you apply. You will automatically receive a message letting you know that we did receive your application. You do want to wait for the recruiters or the managers to contact you for an interview. We go through a lot of applications and a lot of requests. So you will try to be contacted as soon as possible, but just know that every position does not have an immediate response to it. Let's see what else. you will, again, I want to stress the hire review that, Susan talked about and also that Drea talked about. Once you complete that, we do try to look at it within 48 hours, but just know that sometimes with the 21, 22 positions, they are not being immediately reviewed because we are still looking at what's needed for the school, the student enrollment, things such as that. So right now, you definitely want to see that if you are applying to a 21, 22 rec, you may not get a response within the next few weeks, but it will be coming up. Step 3, yes, you will get the final phone interview. Note that these are Zoom interviews, so again, dress accordingly. That's the perfect time to ask any questions that you have because you will be talking to the manager or the hiring people directly. So they can definitely answer any questions in regards to curriculum, students, just how your day will go. A lot of people do have questions on how do you plan your day? How many classes do I have live? So things like that, just be prepared for in the interview. And if selected to make an offer, the recruiter will reach out to you directly. We do have a process. So within the time frame that the manager does request to hire you, you should hear from the recruiter within that week. You can always send an email to recruiting@k12.com to follow up, but you will hear from us shortly after your interview. The pool positions, I see a question on pool positions. So pool positions is to pretty much get us prepared for the next school year. So again, the positions that you see listed for 21 and 22, those are what we call pooling positions. If you look at the job description, it will state that it is a position that we are pooling candidates for. So that is why it is called a pooling position. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the chat too while trying to.
Oh, no problem. I was trying to move to the next slide.
No, that's
fine. On our virtual our interview tips. All right. So, as Susan and Mikhail stated about applying to, you've applied for the position, and you've also been asked to, you've been asked for the virtual interview, whether that be the phone or the on-demand, and all of this will be done through HireVue, which is our platform that we use for our interviews. So, just some virtual interview tips for you all. Just make sure that you are in a comfortable and well-lit area. I know since a lot of us have been indoors a lot lately, making sure that you have good lighting. I know recently for myself, I purchased a ring light. That's not something required, but it does help as far as having good lighting while you are doing your interview, and also make sure you're in a quiet place. Also dress again as you would if you were attending a live interview in face-to-face, so make sure you dress the part. And then also know the job requirements. Another suggestion would be to just have the job description of that job you applied to and a copy of your resume with you as a reference. Either if you have it on your screen or whatnot, that could be helpful, or print it out just so you can have points that you can talk about on your resume of things that you've done. And you can also refer to the job description. That can help if you want to ask certain questions to the interviewer, or certain things that they might ask you about that position. Again, ask unique questions. I gave an example of what does a typical day look like in this role. That's just something you could particularly ask the interviewer about the job that you're applying for. And also to have fun. Again, I know it's an interview, it can be nerve-wracking, but try to have fun with it, show your personality, and show your creativity in the interview portion. So moving to, before we go into our question Q&A session, I just wanted to go over again, HireVue is our platform that we use for our interviews. Our on-demand are our usually that's your initial interview that you would do. Now, these are preset questions that you are given, and then you're given a time to practice. So they'll give you some practice questions when you are sent the on-demand interview. Typically, you record that, and it takes between 45 minutes to an hour to record your answers. And then after that interview's done, the recruiters will send that to the hiring manager for them to review. And then afterward, they typically will send you another on demand. Well, they'll send you another invitation for the live interview, which would be you're talking face to face, but it's still virtually through Zoom. And then you'll be asking questions that way. Or another would be through a phone, but typically they're on demand or live interviews through Zoom. That's how we've been conducting our interviews lately due to everything that's going on. When you're in HireVue, you want to make sure that you test your technology, make sure everything is running smoothly. As far as your computer, make sure you have the correct setup. Again, want to make sure that your environment is conducive for an interview, that it's, again, well lit in a quiet area. And then we do, again, give you practice questions, so you can take as much time just doing the practice to make yourself comfortable. And then again, make sure that you be yourself, have fun, and show us your personality in the question session. Oh, and I saw something in the chat box to make sure that you are checking your spam folder when it comes to application. So I want to make sure that was said. When you're if you're receiving anything back from us, you just make sure that you're checking that with the emails that go back and forth. All right, so I wanted to share some of the jobs that we currently have right now that you can apply to. Mikhail was letting us know earlier about the academic roles that are up right now. If they are posting, saying the school year for 21 and 22, that we are currently reviewing those now. As far as other academic roles that we have enrollment positions, truancy, and administrative positions that are currently hiring. And we also do have part-time teaching positions on our up for application, and those are typically under learning solutions, and those are for our learning solutions positions. They can be worked after brick and mortar hours. And then for our corporate side, the corporate roles that we have currently that we are looking for, we have a support services technician, a director for regional compliance, a technical recruiter. We're also looking for a digital marketing specialist, a director for CRE strategy and operations. So these are just a few of the positions that we do have on our site, but we have plenty more. And again, you can go onto our website, you can search by state, and you can also search by the state or even the school. If there's a particular school that you are already familiar with, you can go onto the website in the search bar. And I'm seeing we have more than 700 positions that are currently posted, so there's plenty to look for. All right. And I just want to share some of our events that we have going on before I dive into some questions. But some of the events that we do have coming up for this month, our next webinar will be talking about our special education at Stride. We'll have a meet and greet with Insight Michigan. That will be on the 20th. We'll also have a meet and greet with Ohio Virtual Academy in June. And then our What's Your Why is our next webinar for June, and our Ohio Interview Day. Also, if you have not followed us, you can follow us on Careers at Stride. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And then also we have our QR code, so you can join our talent community. That way, when we have different events, you'll be first to know about things that are coming up and just new things that are happening here at Stride. So we're going to dive into questions, but before we do that, I do want to have Jenny Murphy. She's one of our teacher trainers and works with our talent development community, to just introduce herself and tell us about her role as a teacher trainer. Jenny, if you would like to take the mic.
Yeah, thank you, Andrea. I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. I'm Jenny Murphy, and I've actually been with Stride for 9 years. I served in a lot of different roles here, from virtual teacher to instructional coach in the Southern region, and now I'm on the talent development and community team. And so our primary focus is professional learning. So we get to work in all aspects of professional development with teachers across the country. So yeah, we'd love for you to join us on that team as well. But I'll be happy to help answer any questions that you all may have, specifically as it pertains to applying and working with that lesson plan. So
Thank you, Jenny. So I'm seeing, go into our chat, and I'm appreciating all the questions we're getting. Thank you to everyone.
Drea, there's one about, is there a curriculum available for core teaching positions, or an
Yeah.
example, I guess?
And actually, Jenny, if you would like, could you share a little bit about the curriculum for Stride and what we use?
absolutely. So I can speak specifically to our K-5 curriculum, and then I have a little bit of working knowledge with the middle grades and upper grades, the OMHS. So Stride uses two different platforms for their curriculum. The K-5 platform is OLS, and then the middle school, high school is going to be the OMHS. And within those platforms, that's where the curriculum is housed. So that's like their virtual school where they go to access all of their textbooks. But that curriculum, it is aligned to the state standard. So there again, that's going to really come into play depending on what state you are teaching in, because the national curriculum is aligned to the state curriculum. So there are differences depending on which state you're working with. Does that kind of help?
Let's see, I was looking back to see in the chat, because I think that was they were asking the question in the chat box, but that's what they were. Yes, and she said thank you.
Awesome. Yep, you're welcome.
All right, let me go. Okay, someone was asking after the Zoom interview, how long does the review process take before the hiring manager makes a decision, and will I receive notification either way? As far as the process, it could be, I think we're running between 4 to 6 weeks, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keisha, but within that time frame, they should be reaching back out as far as sending an email. But if you have questions about that, you can send an email to recruiting@k12.com, and I can put that in the chat box for you. All right. We answered that one. All right, someone was asking, I am certified in 3 states. Do I have to live in the state that I teach? I guess I would ask, make sure when you apply for the position that you're applying to the state that you're living in. That has to be, for that particular position, it has to be the state that you apply for. So if you are in Virginia and you applied for another state, they have a residency requirement that you have to live in that state. So you could apply for Virginia teaching positions because you are a resident in that state and you are certified in that state. I hope if that is clear. Okay, and let's see.
Someone asked if we would expect to be adding more positions in the next year.
And
sorry, my link's messing up.
Our 21 for school year for 2021 and 2022 positions are being reviewed. So we do have positions out now for that school year. Are you referring to the next school year? But we do have positions open now for 2021 and 2022 that we're looking for.
Hey, Drea, this is Michael. I would like to touch on something. I see a lot of questions in regards to, how long does it take? And I know we've touched on it a few times, but again, I do like to reiterate that the reason why it may take so long is because we are very careful at how many teachers we hire compared to the amount of students that we have. So even though you may not receive an immediate response, know that things are still being reviewed. We still have your application, and we are still checking the hire reviews daily. But just keep in mind that we may not hire immediately because we hire due to enrollment. So we do not want to overhire and we do not want to underhire. So we're pretty careful with that. I also seen some questions about contracting positions. You do keep seeing learning solutions. One of the things with learning solutions is that they are contractors because they are generally doing less than 20 hours a week, and they are also doing it after their brick and mortar hours. So they can be very long-term, as in years, or they can be short-term. There are also positions that if something did not work, let's say you started the online and you did not like it, you can always give a 2-week notice. So it's not contracted in that sense either. And then another question I keep seeing had to do with, people that submitted the application and they did their hire review video, and will they hear anything immediately after that? The manager, recruiter, or one of our team members will contact you for a live interview if you are chosen to move forward after the hire review video is submitted. So I kept seeing the same questions, so I just wanted to answer them. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, someone was asking, does Stride offer co-curriculars or sports? And if so, do teachers serve as advisors?
I'll jump in here. Just from experience with the school that I worked with previously, we didn't have sports or anything like that, but we had clubs, and some of the teachers volunteered their time to do kind of clubs, but it was all still virtual. So it was in that kind of setting. I don't know if that maybe helps, but a little bit of information.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, I'm going through our chat some more, see some more questions. All right, there was someone asking, are any extra tips for corporate job seekers? I'll ask that one of our corporate recruiters is on our call right now, Sheila Martin. If Sheila, if you would like to just talk about some of our corporate roles that we are currently looking for. I gave a few earlier, but if there were anything that you would like to share with some of our participants that may be interested in corporate roles that we have on our site.
Awesome, thank you. I think if you're looking for a corporate role, I think the main thing is making sure you put the skill set that you're looking for and the job that you're applying to, make it so that it's very obvious to the recruiter so that we can see it. For instance, if you're looking for a training position or a teacher trainer position, you want to just maybe highlight some of that experience at the beginning of your resume, how many years you've done it, any type of tools that you may have used to assist with the training. Those type of things really help us to identify good qualified candidates and candidates who come to the table with experience. In the corporate side right now, we are hiring for head of schools. We're hiring for talent development. That is, like I said, trainers. It's titled talent development, but that would be someone who would be a trainer. We also hire for designers at all different levels. We have entry-level designer positions. We have level 2 designers, maybe someone who have designed a curriculum with maybe 1 year of experience, 2 years of experience. And then we have some more advanced designer type of positions. So those are the type of things that you would find on the corporate side.
Thank you, Sheila.
No problem.
I saw a question about what does technology training look like. Jenny, if you could share just what that looks like as far as like when they get their computer and like what types of
Yeah, I'll be happy to jump in. I'll do my best to answer the question. So, the training is really tailored to the different positions. So, depending on what position, you accept, once you're, on board and you have all of your materials, then your team is going to set you up with some very specific training, because it's important that we set you up for success in your position. And so we're going to make sure that you are well taken care of and that you've got a great support system, and so that you can be successful in your new position. And a big part of that is going to be offering that training. And a lot of the training is done asynchronously, with you sitting in front of your computer, watching, participating, engaging in some live sessions, in some recorded sessions, and then also going through some different job aids. So it's a large variety, but there again, it's going to be tailored to the specific position that you've accepted.
Thank you, Jenny. I wanted to reiterate, someone was asking about the if they didn't hear anything and they applied and there might have been a time between hearing something. I just wanted to reiterate what Keisha had said, that we do have a lot of roles that open and are being open daily. So if because you are, as she said, because you were considered in March or even in May, that doesn't mean you're counted out for the running, because again, we have so many positions that are constantly opening. And again, as Mikhail had mentioned earlier, they are particular about their enrollment size. So we want to make sure we're not over hiring or under hiring. So that again can be the reason why there may be time from hearing anything after you've applied. But do not count yourself out. All right, so going back into the chat, hold on one second. And thank you to those that are answering questions in the chat as well. Let's see. Someone was asking about the retirement and benefits. I wanted to state over the mic, yes, retirement, those plans, they can vary by school, but we do offer retirement as well as medical, health, and dental for those that apply and work for Stripe.
I also see someone asking about typical class sizes. She asked specifically about middle and high school, but I guess all grades would be helpful.
Okay. And I guess I'll also
probably talk about meet and greet.
I'm sorry, did someone mention something?
Sorry, I said it might be good to talk about our school-specific meet and greets here to really answer those questions.
Okay. Yes, we do offer and we said in our events, we try to we'll have different schools to have their own meet and greet, and that way you can talk to some of the staff, and we'll have a elementary school teacher, a middle school teacher, a high school teacher to give just a view of what it looks like at that school, because again, each school does vary. So as far as giving a specific number, we don't have a specific number of what those class sizes are. It just varies depending on the school that you are working for, and the type of school that they cater to as well. Let's see, any other questions? Hold on. Let's go also the Q&A. Okay, someone was asking as far as the teachers' salaries. Are teachers' salaries similar to state-based compensation? Okay, and thank you, Jenny, for joining us today. All right, again, so the teacher salaries, they will vary based on that particular school, and I think you're saying state-based. If Mikhail, if you want to.
Absolutely. So the salaries, they do vary state to state, school to school. We do try to keep it comparable to what the public schools offer. However, that is not always the case. So it is something that you will find out either during the interview, or you can even ask before the interview. We do have questions set up sometimes whenever you do complete the application on what is your salary requirement. And if we see that we are under what your salary requirement is, we will reach out to you directly and let you know what it is and see if you still want to move forward. So you may see that a lot in some of your pre-screening questions.
All right, I'm not seeing.
One more thing I want to touch base on too. I'm sorry, just something that I see a lot. Make sure your profile is up to date. The telephone number that you have listed on there, the email address that you have listed on there, that is where all of your requests will go to. So make sure that your resume and your contact information is up to date whenever you apply.
And I can even go back to, let me see if I can go back to that slide. Oops, went too far. There we go. Okay, I was just putting up the slide as we were reiterating what she said, to make sure you're with your resume, updating your contact information, name, email, phone number. If you had a name change or recently, got married, just make sure we're aware of that so we can contact you if we're asking for interview or any way that we're trying to reach out. All right, I saw 2 more questions and then we will wrap up. And I look, okay, someone was asking, when I look at all of the positions I've applied for listed, I've applied for, the action listed is none. Does this mean I was not selected to move forward in the hiring process, or are they still looking at applications? For the action, again, they could be still reviewing the applicants for that position. So I would just give time for the recruiters to look over that, because again, we do have multiple positions that we have applicants for, so they are reviewing quite a few people daily. All right. So again, just as a wrap up, again, we have talked about how to apply to our website how to, after applying, what tips there are to ace your digital interview. And just some key points. Again, we want to make sure that you are having your resume up to date. You want to make sure that you are looking at the job requirements that are on our website, and knowing that if they have a certification or residency requirement, that you meet those residency requirements. Again, if you're asked for a interview, we use HireVue, and that is our digital platform where you would either do an on-demand, which is a pre-recorded interview where you're answering a certain amount of questions, or a live interview, which would be face-to-face, still virtual, but you would be answering directly with someone on Zoom. And then from there, we gave some virtual tips on making sure you're in a well-lit area, making sure you're dressed for the part, asking you neat questions, and having fun with the process. And we also talked about some of the jobs that we currently have right now. Again, we have 700 plus positions that are available. That's including academic or corporate. We do have current positions for the 2021 and 2022 school year that are out now that you can apply for, and we have several corporate roles that are on our websites as well. So please be sure to go on our site to apply and to interview with us. And also, again, if you have not followed us, please follow us at Careers at Stride. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And right now you're seeing, again, the upcoming events that we have for the rest of this month and into June. Again, our next webinar will be on the 19th. We'll be talking about special education here at Stride. And then we have a couple of meet and greets, one with Inside of Michigan and Ohio Virtual Academy. And June 9th, our June webinar will be What's Your Why? And you'll hear from some of our teachers and hearing some of their stories and how they found Stride and their experience from being here. If you are also interested in joining our talent community, feel free to scan our QR code that's on the screen right now and stay connected to us. But I don't see any further questions, but I do want to thank everyone for attending. Please note that we did record this session. We will be uploading this to our YouTube channel later this week. But we want to thank you all for attending. I want to thank you to all of our panelists that came today and answered questions and gave tips to us. But we will see you next time on our webinar, and thank you all for coming. Bye, everyone.